Welcome everybody to update number 43, and this will be the final update before Christmas. Not sure if it'll be the final update of this year. Depends if I get anything for Christmas or if there's anything on sales after Christmas that I want to get. But regardless, yeah, this is the last one before Christmas. I do apologise for the poor lighting. It's something I will be getting sorted out in the new year, but with it being winter, daylight is at a premium, so yeah, unfortunately that's what we're going to have to deal with today. So yeah, regardless though, we do have a lot that I've gotten over the last month or so, as yeah, we haven't done one since I think the 21st of November, so yeah, I've been getting quite a lot in between then and now. And the first of which is something that I rarely ever buy, and that is a DVD release, and that is the trilogy of films with Doug McClure. So in the 70s he did 4 films in total, that were kind of like adventure films, and this has 3 of them. So it's got At the Earth's Core, Warlords of Atlantis, and The Land That Time Forgot. The 4th one that he did was The People That Time Forgot, which was a sequel to The Land That Time Forgot. But I don't enjoy that as much as these 3. So yeah, I'm not really bothered that it's not included in this release. And yeah, all 3 of these were released by Amicus Productions, who most famously did all of the horror anthology films like Asylum and Tales of the Crypt and stuff like that I really rather enjoy. So yeah, and these are really rather good adventure films. And At the Earth's Core has Peter Cushing in it as well, which helps that. But the main thing with these 3s are the miniatures and the creature effects and the action scenes and the general spectacle of the thing. So yeah, that's really what sells these 3 films. So yeah, they're all on individual discs as well, which is something I like to see. These hopefully will get a Blu-ray release at some point. The really are missing out on people that are fans of these kind of films, quite frankly, not giving them a Blu-ray release. But until it does, I figured I'd get it on DVD, because they don't look too bad on the DVD format, but they could definitely look better on Blu-ray. Speaking of which, we've got a whole host of Blu-rays. I got a couple of ones that aren't released by any specific studio, and first of which is Hell or High Water, which is a superb, kind of heist thriller kind of film. Really rather well done. Got a really good cast, and it's got a really good script as well on it. I think the script is done by Taylor Sheridan. But yeah, you've also got Chris Pine and Ben Foster, who work really well together as brothers, and yeah, it's just really, really well done. And yeah, highly recommend it if you've not seen it already. And then from this year, we've got Fall, which, yeah, by no means the best film, doesn't take complete advantage of its premise, but it's still really well done. It's got some really rather exhilarating scenes, some good tension, looks really nice as well in terms of its cinematography, as, 2 people are up on a tower, and, you've got these great big wide vistas and stuff like that. So, yeah, really, really well done. Not seen the uncut version of it yet, but I'm sure I'll get around to that at some point. But yeah, the theatrical version was pretty solid in its own right, and yeah, definitely one of the more unique films of this year. We've not had many one location films this year, so it's nice to see that has yeah, done well at the box office as well. And then we have from Hammer, The Mummy's Shroud, which is easily the best of the sequels from the Mummy series. I think they did 4 originally, and yeah, this is my favourite of the 3 sequels. So yeah, you get it on DVD and Blu-ray, if that's something that takes your fancy. And yeah, Andre Morale is in the lead role, although I do believe he's not particularly well used in this film. It has been a few months since I've seen it, but yeah, still pretty solid effort, and definitely the best since the first Mummy. And then a film I haven't seen yet, but have heard good things from, and that is It Always Rains on Sunday. Weirdly enough, it is raining, and it is Sunday today. So yeah, but yeah, it's done by the same company that did Kind Hearts and Coronets, I believe, Ealing Productions, and yeah, looks like a fairly solid film. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing it. And yeah, like I said, I've heard good things about it. And then a film I have seen that is also from Ealing Productions or Ealing Studios, whichever one you want to call it, Passport to Pimlico. Now, this is one of many of their comedies that I now have. I have also got, where are the Lady Killers, the Titfield Thunderbolt, Whiskey Galore, the Lavender Hill Mob, and now this. And yeah, this is another really, really solid one. Really good premise, executes it really nicely. Got a great cast who've been in plenty of other things that you might well have seen if you're into your British cinema. And yeah, it's just generally quite funny as well. It doesn't try to be funny, it just is funny. So yeah, most of it succeeds. So really rather solid film. And then a sequel to an effort that I've not seen for a while, but I've can remember enjoying this somewhat, and that is Class of 1999, the spiritual sequel to Class of 1984. Not as good as that film, but still a really, really solid effort. Got some good action scenes to it. Nice premise in the fact that there's teachers that have been intentionally replaced by robotic teachers, and then they go haywire. So yeah, really, really rather good. And you've got a decent cast as well. You've got Stacey Keach, Malcolm McDowell, and Pam Grier in this. So yeah, solid cast and generally decent film. I've not seen the sequel to this sequel, which is the Class of 1999 2, The Substitute, but I've not heard the best of things about that. So yeah, might well see it, but unlikely to buy it, especially since I don't even think it's available on Blu-ray. And then moving on to something from Arrow Video, and that is A Fugitive from the Past. Now this was released earlier this year. Waited for it to go down a little bit in sale because I wasn't 100% sure if I'd like it or not. But I've not seen it, so I'm not sure if I still will. But at least I've not spent a lot of money on it to find out. So yeah, it's quite an epic film. It's 3 hours and 3 minutes. So yeah, not a short effort by any means, but considering I've rarely been disappointed by any Japanese film that I've seen so far, I'm hopeful that this will be another great effort from that country. And yeah, got a nice booklet with it as well, with some other shots from the film or artwork that's been created for the film. And yeah, you get a couple of write-ups. You get A Tale of Guilt and Dread, Tomu Uchida's A Fugitive from the Past by David Baldwin, and then Tomu Uchida's Salvation from Evil by Inuuki Yamata. And then you got About the Transfer and production credits. I think it got scanned into 2K. High definition master, so no, not 2K, but I'm still sure it'll look pretty good, as most Arrow films do, regardless of age. And then from Signal 1 we have a couple of efforts, first of which is The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. Now this stars Jodie Foster, same year that she was also in Taxi Driver and I think it was Bugsy Malone, so she had quite a year in 1976. So yeah, it's supposed to be really good. It's got Martin Sheen in it as well as Alexis Smith. So yeah, should hopefully be good. Heard good things from it from a friend, so yeah, looking forward to eventually getting around to that. Main reason I haven't gotten around to some of these films that I've bought that I haven't seen yet is purely because it's Christmas. So, December I tend to prioritise more Christmas orientated films or new releases to catch up on stuff I've missed in the year. And then also from Signal 1 we have The Mephisto Waltz, basically like cultism, Satanism, stuff like that. And yeah, don't think I've seen anything with the cast before, but it does have a score by Jerry Goldsmith, which most of the time is enough of a reason to entice me into watching a film, quite frankly, if a composer is involved, and I've enjoyed a lot of their work before, especially on films that I've really enjoyed. So yeah, looking forward to that. Now, a film I have seen that I don't recommend you getting unless you're into these kind of films, and that is Conga. Not a good film at all. I think I've only given it 1.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd or something like that, but I can't resist watching these kind of films even though I know they're bad, because I do just enjoy them despite being as bad as they are. And yeah, but still, it's got Michael Gough in the lead role, and yeah, it's basically the British version of King Kong in a lot of ways, as yeah, big primate attacks a major city in the UK, our capital in fact, London. So yeah, not the best of films by any means, and it does take a while to get to actually any spectacle, but it's just reasonably entertaining in a goofy manner. Now, he looks terrifying on that picture, doesn't he? What he doesn't look terrifying on is this picture. Looks a little goofy, but regardless, yeah. There he is again. But yeah, regardless, it's entertaining in a bad way, to be honest. And if you're into your 50s and 60s cheap B movies, then yeah, this will be right up your alley. And I am into my cheapo B movies, so yeah. Not sure who this write-up is about, or written by even. yeah, I think he's just talking about the film generally, to be honest. But yeah, still gets a booklet with it regardless. And then also from Network, which is what Congo was from, is the Quiller Memorandum. Really rather good spy thriller from the 60s. Does what a different kind of thing to the spy genre from the 60s, because obviously James Bond was a big hit at that time. But this does something a little bit different, and I respect it for that. And yeah, it's got a really good cast as well. George Segal, Alec Guinness, Max von Sydow, and George Sanders. So yeah, and directed by Michael Anderson as well. So yeah, pretty good spy thriller. Not the best going, certainly not the best from the decade it's from, but still a really, really good effort. And yeah, like I said, it's nice to see that they weren't trying to chase the big hitters from that time. And then also finally from Network, we have Life for Ruth, which, yeah, has Patrick McGoohan in it and Janet Monroe. I think I've seen her in something from before, but it's directed by Basil Dadrin, who's done plenty of other socially conscious kind of films, and this is another one of those where basically, yeah, badly injured in a boating accident, John and Pat Harris's daughter Ruth is rushed to hospital. They are told that an urgent blood transfusion is needed, but John refuses his consent on religious grounds, even though that would mean his daughter's certain death. So basically, it goes through the courts and they're trying to wrangle over whether or not the father has the right to refuse care, or if care is a legal duty to be given. So yeah, really looking like the sound of that. It looks like a really rather interesting film. And so for something from, what was it, from 1962, that is quite a modern kind of thing to be deliberating over, quite frankly. So yeah, and it's got a write-up introduction on it, and then a conclusion over it, and a model of screenwriting write-up as well. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing that, and I hope it's as good as it sounds. And then from 88 Films, they had a brief sale on where if you ordered anything over £50, you get 33% off your whole order. So yeah, I spent £50 and then some, and you'll see one of the other releases I got on this order in a future video. But regardless, the first of which is Swamp Thing by Wes Craven. So yeah, this is kind of a throwback to the kind of 50s and 60s sci-fi, B movies of the time. Can't remember overly enjoying it when I first watched it, but maybe it's just because I wasn't, as appreciative of those kind of films at the time. So yeah, hoping that I'll enjoy it again. And yeah, it has the what's it got, the uncut and uncensored European cut of the film, and yeah, then you've also got the Blu-ray and DVD versions as well. So yeah, maybe I've just not seen the uncut version, and maybe I'll enjoy it even more when I do. And then a couple of films that I've not seen. Paranoia, which is a really nice slipcover actually. And yeah, this is a Giallo effort, but with a little bit of a difference, because our lead, which is played by Carol Baker, I think is a race car driver. It's not often you see a female lead in a kind of career in a kind of film, but regardless, that is something that I'm highly respected of, because yeah, I like cars and racing. So yeah, it should hopefully be a good effort, and yeah, get a nice booklet to go along with the nice slipcover that it's got going on. So it's got Paranoia, the Art of Duplicity, right up in that, and then it's got a couple of different versions of the poster going for it as well. And yeah, it's directed by Umberto Lenzi, who I've seen several films from this year so far. And yeah, this write-up is by Rachel Nisbet. So yeah, I've enjoyed several of Umberto Lenzi's films so far this year. So hopefully that'll continue his successful run, quite frankly. And then we have a film that has a great cast, and that is Dragons Forever. Now, this came out last year, but it's got Yuan Bao, who we've already talked about in Righting Wrongs, and he was great in that, as well as Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. And yeah, this is the Steelbook version, which you could only get on 88 Films, because only the standard version was available in the likes of HMV. And yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous steelbook. I love the colour scheme on it. Not often you see that kind of colour scheme, so I really, really do appreciate that. And what I also appreciate is that the back has a really good artwork on it as well, and there's no stupid writing on the bottom either. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing this. So yeah, this got the Hong Kong cut and extra features, and as well as the English cut and the Japanese cut. So yeah, 3 different versions on this. Hong Kong cut is on the first disc, and then the other 2 cuts are on the second. Just trying to be careful with the steelbook, don't want to scratch it. And then you get a nice poster with it as well. No, it's not double-sided. No, it's not. But it's got the new artwork on it, which, considering I like the colour scheme, is always of benefit, quite frankly. Not the biggest of posters, but then again, you don't really need to be. As long as it's got, you know, cool artwork, doesn't really matter, to be honest, and that is cool artwork. So yeah, especially with that colour scheme on that is on the steelbook. So yeah, really looking forward to finally getting around to seeing that. And then we have a couple of films in 4K. First of which is In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood, probably one of his last great leading roles in terms of his own performance. So yeah, and then you've also got John Malkovich and Rene Russo in the supporting cast. Yeah, really looking forward to watching this again, because it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I'm sure it'll look great in 4K. And then finally in 4K we have Oblivion, which I find to be a highly underrated film, directed by Joseph Kosinski, isn't it? Yes. Who's done a lot of good films as well. There's at least 3 of his other films that I've really enjoyed. He did Tron Legacy. He's done I think he did Top Gun Maverick from this year. He did Spiderhead, is it called, from this year as well, which was decent enough, but not all that great. Yeah, struggling to remember what else he's done. But regardless, he has done films I've enjoyed, and this is easily one of my favourites from him. I find it to be really underrated. Not many people seem to have enjoyed this film, but it's got great special effects, really good action, a solid cast, the score is well done, and yeah, it's just generally an engrossing sci-fi effort. So yeah, highly recommend that. And finally, I know this has been a long video already, but we have 2 box sets to look at. The first of which is from BFI, and it is the Takeshi Kitano collection. 3 films from him, and 3 films I've really enjoyed, and they are Violent Cop, Boiling Point, and Sonatine. Sonatine being my favourite of the 3, but still, the other 2 are really, really good as well. Yeah, there's a box. And yeah, each on their own disc. There's Violent Cop, Boiling Point, and Sonatine. And yeah, you get a booklet with it as well. The box isn't the, you know, the highest of quality, but you do get a really thick booklet with this as well, as you can see, which basically talks about the films, write-ups by several people. You got Deconstructing Takashi Meet Beat by Jasper Sharp, then, which is quite a long write-up actually. And then you got Boiling Point by Mark Schilling. Then you got Being Violent the Unfunny Way by Tom Mez. So yeah, you got a lot of pages in this. It's really nice paper as well. And you got Sonatine by Jasper Sharp, and Code of Conduct by Jeff Andrew on Sonatine. So yeah, 3 really good films. If you've not seen anything from Takeshi Kitano before, then I do highly recommend watching his films, because they are really, really good. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting into more of his films. I think another one I've got to see yet is Fireworks, which is on Mubi, so I've really got to get around to that at some point. And then finally, the big hitter is the Bong Joon-ho collection. So I already had Snowpiercer on Blu-ray, but I figured, to hell with it, let's get all of his most well-known films on Blu-ray. Now, this does not have Okja, I think purely because that was on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix exclusive, but it does have his first effort, Barking Dogs Never Bite, and then Memories of Murder, The Host, Mother, Snowpiercer, and Parasite, plus a Parasite in a black and white version as well. And this is released by Curzon Artificial Eye. Don't usually get many from them because they typically don't do films I'm overly interested in, but still, I am very much interested in this director's efforts, and only Barking Dogs Never Bite is the one that I've not seen. And yeah, this basically unfolds just like the Jean-Pierre Melville box set that I got a while ago, which means it's very long, as you can see. So yeah, there's Barking Dogs Never Bite. Then Memories of Murder, which is easily one of his best films. The Host, which is pretty good, although the special effects aren't particularly great. Then you got, what was it? Oh yeah, we're here. Mother. And then Snowpiercer, and then Parasite, and then Parasite on black and white. So yeah, big old release. But yeah, Barking Dogs Never Bite is the only one I haven't seen from him, so we'll definitely be getting around to that next year, just like a lot of other Asian films and from Asian directors that I have bought so far this year, like the Tucci collection, which, you know, it's 25 films. That's going to really bump up what I've got. Yeah, really looking forward to next year in terms of watching films from more Asian directors that I have yet to see. And yeah, you get a nice bunch of art cards as well, which have unique imagery from the film. So yeah, that's Barking Dogs Never Bite. That'll be Memories of Murder. The Host. Mother, which is also excellent. That's as good as Memories from Murder for me. Snowpiercer, which is his more mainstream film. It's probably the one that you can get into most. And then Parasite in black and white, which again are really rather nicely done. So yeah, excellent director. And yeah, one I highly recommend watching films from if you haven't somehow seen Parasite at least, which was easily the film of 2019. But still, massive amount of films there. Don't even know how many. Don't even want to count because it would just probably depress me given I've got no room for any of these. But regardless, yeah, excellent last update for the year before Christmas at least. So yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on any of these films if you've seen them. But if you haven't, then I do highly recommend at least 90% of these. So yeah, I think the only ones I wouldn't recommend are probably House of 1999 and Conga. But out of the ones that I've seen, but still, I've got several there that I haven't seen that I am really looking forward to finally getting around to. And yeah, but nonetheless, Merry Christmas. Hope you have a really, really nice one, and hope you get lots of things that you've wanted and have a good time with family or friends or whatever. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you after Christmas. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.